Hello there, Bubba Woke here, with ideas so dangerous that I have to hide my identity just so I can tell you about them. One thing we know about the deep state, it's an equal opportunity repressor. We know that the deep state is colorblind. It cares not about sexual orientation or religious or political persuasion. You see, the deep state is happy to persecute us all. The deep state will use any group as a method of dividing us. It is only within the divisions between people that the deep state can thrive. You know, there seems to be a cycle. You persecute a group or a demographic, correct the persecution, co-opt the leadership or the message of the newly freed, and then persecute the previous persecutor. Let's start with the African American movement and the population and the civil rights movement. A persecuted part of our society was liberated to a point. They were given rights and laws were passed preventing discrimination. African American, of course, those populations were expanded to include all people of color and national origin. As the civil rights movement was winding down, the persecution of the LGBT population was stepped up. They used the Christian conservative community and other conservatives as allies. Marches were held, people were arrested, and at long last, that community got their rights too. The LGBT population was expanded to include T's and Q's, and of course, some in that population seek anti-discrimination legislation as well. Then on to the Christians. Of course, the problem with persecuting Christians is that too many African Americans were Christians and too many LGBTQs are too. This one didn't take off as well, but they still try. I wonder who we should persecute next. It's simple to see that conservative and small government folks are the new target of persecution. Just let one of them try to speak at Berkeley, and once they speak at Berkeley, you'll find out that, yeah, they're kind of persecuted too. See, what we do is they group the conservatives in with white supremacists. I don't know why they do that, because a true conservative is kind of an equal rights for all crowd, and behold, they found a new population to persecute, sprinkle rich people into the mix, and now there's a populist enemy. But a very important part of this mix is, when we can, find a habit or a like of the persecuted and make it illegal. This is where the war on drugs came from. That tool could be used against white radicals of the 60s as well as African Americans. If any group gets too big for their britches, we can use those laws against them troublemakers. We can use those laws to infiltrate the group and stop those who are too effective. Maybe this is the reason for the incessant attack on the Second Amendment of the past few decades. They know people like me aren't getting rid of our guns, so if they can outlaw guns, they have a reason to arrest troublemakers in our group or turn our friends against us when they get caught. I wonder what they'll outlaw to keep the LGBTQ community in check. Well, unfortunately, folks, I can't guess on that without being inappropriate, so I won't even try. But the takeaway, my friends, is simple. Do not think poorly of other demographics. Whenever we fight a fellow citizen, we become the tool of the deep state. You see, African Americans are not my enemy. The government is. White supremacists are not our enemy. The government is. The LGBTQ community is not our enemy. The government is. And so the people live in trailer parks. They're not our enemy. Illegal aliens are not our enemy. But you know, our immigration policy is the enemy. Christians are not our enemy. The government is. And Israel is not our enemy. The government is. It's time all people are treated with respect and fairness and allowed to practice their beliefs and preferences without the threat of persecution of any kind, whether you're LGBTQ, African American, or a white conservative like me. Remember this as you consider attacking others, because your attacks will boomerang back to you sooner or later as you become a tool of the deep state in those attacks, and sooner or later they're coming back around to attack you. The most powerful thing we can do for mankind, the most powerful movement ever known to the world, is united citizens working together against the deep state and all their apparatus.